Unsyndicated presents What the Puck with Sean Baligian.
Is up. Glad you can join us. There is so much to do here tonight. Reaction. Four Nations reaction, Mike. Let me start with this, however. Happy birthday to the Montreal Canadiens. They're 115 years old, Mike.
They look good for 115.
No,
they don't look
no,
a day
really,
past 75.
No, really, they don't. They don't look good. They did a little bit last night. They did a little bit last night, but 115 years old today. So happy birthday there. Tom said, "Good evening, guys." So I'm gonna do the live share right now. Four Nations reaction. Four Nations reaction. What's up, Red Wings? How's that? Does that sound good?
Yeah. Okay,
good. So I'm sure you guys have seen it by now. All the rosters have been released. We can have some reaction. Now, Mike, your initial reaction, and we're going to go through all the rosters in just a second. I promise you. I cannot wait. I cannot stress this to you enough. I cannot wait for this generation to experience the best versus best. But I'm going to say this now, and I know I'm probably going to piss a bunch of you off, and I don't care. Russia should be there. Period.
No argument here.
Period. Russia should be there. It is not their players' fault that their country is run by a madman, and they did not, as you joked about 2 minutes before we went on the air, Alexander Ovechkin did not lead the invasion into Ukraine. He did not. It was not Comrade Ovechkin or Colonel Ovechkin, as it were.
Right. And the time has passed from the initial reaction. I think at the initial reaction, the shock and awe of everything that was going on, I think we understood the response of what was happening. From the youngsters, from the juniors, all the way up to this Four Nations tournament, this is not impacting in any kind of way what's going on over there. And I don't mean to joke about it. It is a serious thing that's going on. But this hockey team has nothing to do with what's going on. It's not stopping the madman. It's not helping the madman. That they 100% should be here. Just like as we get into the NHL, I'll talk about the NHL is better with certain teams. This tournament is better with Russia in it.
Yep, no doubt about it. And I'll take it a step further, Mike. I 100% am for like all the things that are being thrown at Russia, all the restrictions and all that crap. Great. I don't think it has anything to do with sports. Sorry. I just don't. I think it's stupid. And I think hockey fans are missing out. I really, truly do. What jumps out to you? Let's start with aux États-Unis, the United States. Did you like that?
I do like that. I love you confusing me. There's nothing more. It is what stands out to me is exactly what I texted you while I was driving home from work today, that you were going to be disappointed. I didn't realize how disappointed I was going to be until I saw the lineup. And it's just, look, the players on here, I mean, kudos. You know, we've got the names, we've got everything, but it always seems to fall in these kinds of things where the U.S. leans on these guys like Kreider, Trocheck, and Brock Nielsen, that experience, that character. I get that, but at some point you're going to miss the speed and goal scoring that I think they left out. You brought up Suzuki, I brought up Caulfield, tit for tat. I'd take both of them. I really would. One guy's a captain. You want character? One guy's a captain. The other guy just flat out scores goals. And at some point, you're going to have to score goals.
I love the United States back end. I really love the back end. In case you missed it, Brock Faber, Adam Fox, Noah Hannafin, Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, Jacob Slavin, Zach Rowensky. I love that. Goaltenders, shout out, high school guy, right? Connor Hullebuck, Jake Ottinger, and Jeremy Swayman. Here's what I would say, and you know Cole Caulfield's my guy. He He is my guy. Ray said Canada's tournament to lose. 100% it is. I think 100% it is. I don't think there's any debate about that. All right. I think what has changed in this last generation, however, Ray, is I think when I look back to 2014 in particular, when I look back to the Sochi Olympics, Mike, that was a waste of everybody's time. That Canada team was so much better than every team. It was unfunny, right? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? And it started with their blue line. Their blue line was sick. That was prime Carey Price. I think the field is closer now. I really do. I think the field is closer now than it was in 2014. But yeah, you have to put Canada as the favorite to start this tournament. No, undoubtedly, to me.
Do you?
I think you do.
Do you have to because of what we're looking at, or do we have to just because it's Canada? I keep looking and I'm not sold on it. And it starts at the blue line back. And when you can throw Hallebuck, Ottinger, or Swayman in that verse, Bennington, Hill, and Montalban. Montalban, you even know, has been very inconsistent, hasn't lived up to what you were hoping he was going to be that would lead the Habs next generation.
When he's good,
yes.
He is good. When he's bad.
And Jordan Bennington's going to fight somebody. He's going to go, and I'll give the guy credit. He has calmed it down this year. He's having a better year. The Blues are having a better year since with the new coach. And I like Aiden Hill. I talked about Aiden Hill last year. I really like him. It doesn't compare to the three that the U.S. team is going to put in there. And I just love the U.S. defense. Now, I'm not saying either one of them. You know what? Pick them. I would put them at an even pick them both at a -110. You know, if they were playing.
Listen to this guy. He's got his odds right.
I can't. Right? I mean,
he's got his odds
we
right.
see the McDavid. We see the McKinnon. We see the Crosby. We know the crushes I have on all these guys. But the U.S. forwards are right there. I think where the miss is going to be with the guys they left off and the guys they took. And I hope I regret saying that, but I just see that is the biggest difference to me.
Ray said Canada has better D. I think that's debatable, my friend. I think that's debatable. I can read that D for you again. Faber, Fox, Hannafin, Quinn Hughes, McAvoy, Slavin, Werenski. That's pretty. I think that's debatable. I think that's debatable.
But
forwards could be a toss-up. I like Canada's forwards better. I'm not going to lie to you. USA doesn't have a go-to guy, a guy you put out there when you need a goal. You know who I would pick for that? Brady Tkachuk. That's serious. You think I'm joking?
No. And he's having. I mean, the year
Tkachuk out there.
The year he's having is unbelievable. He's doing it all over the place. But when you were talking about the defense, Parenko, Pietrangelo, and Theodore are on the back ends of their career. They're going the other way. The U.S. with Werenski's having a career year right now. Hughes and Fox are at the top. Brock Faber is the head of one of the best D corps, as we talk about with the Wild when you send over the notes to me. And McAvoy's an animal. I mean, I'd take the guy. I mean, I don't know. I from the blue line back, I give it to the U.S. For the forwards, I would give it to. I'm with you. I'd give it to the Canadians.
I like their forwards a lot better, and I think they're going to come at you in waves. And when I look at the depth of that, no doubt about it. Now it's interesting because I don't want to certainly disrespect the other two involved in this, and there should be Russia, and I would even make an argument for Switzerland, but that's a different story for a different day. As a guy who covered junior in the past, I have a soft spot for Switzerland because I think very quietly Switzerland's done a really good job. I mean that, and it's not Paul DiPietro.
Right.
It's a bunch of Swiss-born guys.
It's a bunch of Swiss-born guys. But as we were talking about with Finland, you just have to watch the junior tournament and the way in any international play, be it Switzerland or be it the team you're probably going to talk, Finland, have come on over the last few years. They're always there. Switzerland's always causing problems.
I love this Finnish team. I really do. And again, if you follow the international game, there's something crazy about the Finns. When they are together, they play together. I don't think anybody comes together like the Finns come together, and all one has to do is follow their success in a lot of these tournaments, Mike.
It's that old school Russian way where when they're out there, they used to all play together. That they'll be at the Russian Five, or when you watch some of the documentaries on their old Olympic teams, the way those lines all played together. All 5 guys would touch the puck. All 5 guys were involved. The Finns are a special breed when you put Finns together.
Yep. Sweden, let me take a look at Sweden's roster very quickly. Obviously, for Red Wing fans, it doesn't surprise anybody. Lucas Raymond's on there, who, by the way, was listening to us. Lucas Raymond's been listening to us. I'm not saying it was us. I hope you understand that. A good old Gus Nyquist, former Red Wing, is there. Lucas Raymond, of course, one of the forwards. Anderson. The defense, nothing jumps out to you with me with the defense. Their goaltending's pretty good. Gustafsson, Markstrom, and Ullmark.
Yeah, when you sent me over the notes about the Wild, I was looking at the Wild as to bring up and talk about, and the year that Gustafsson's having is pretty good. His numbers are always kind of good in the short term. We haven't seen him in the long term, and as this tournament gets going, is right about where his numbers are we're gonna see whether he's gonna be a full-time goalie or not. But I like where he's at right now.
Cornstalker, are these games being played on international ice or NHL configuration? NHL. They're being played at the Bell Center and whatever TDS Waterhouse, whatever that building is in Boston. TDRF. K Garden.
They change it out
or whatever it's called. Yeah. So it's going to be in Montreal and Boston at the NHL rinks. I wish they would have gone with the World Cup format and had an under 25 team of all nations together, including Russia, Czech, Swiss, and Germany. Ray, eventually, I'm not going to argue with that, but it's been so long since we had a best versus the best. In my opinion, Mike, you can obviously throw your 2 cents in. I like it for this. Let's have the best and the best. Again, what pisses me off as a hockey fan are all the young players that have never had a chance to play in the best against the best format. Like the ball was dropped immensely by the powers that be not to have a tournament like this in the last 10 years.
Absolutely. I mean, it should have never gone away. They should have built off that very first World Cup that they did. Give me the years.
The World Cup was 96.
Yes, in 96, which was fantastic. Hockey in the States took off at that point. Everyone was talking about it. And they should have fed off it. It took them long enough to get something like that done. And it was cute when they did the under 25, this right here is what people want to see. Again, we're not getting Russia. We're not going to see everybody, but for what we have right here, I can't wait. I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, I think it's unfortunate that I'm more excited for that than I am the NHL regular season, but that is what it is. That's another story.
Well, and we're going to have soon enough, we're going to have time to talk about the World Juniors, which again, if you've listened to me,
it's coming.
There are 3 things that stand out to me more than anything in the game of hockey. And that's one of them. Every year that is can't miss. No doubt about it. Memorial Cup, World Juniors, and obviously the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the NCAA tournament, although if I had my way, I'd make it bigger, but that's a story for a different day. Let me take care of some business because, shocker, you guys are going to be stunned. Mike and I are running to a hockey game in about 20 minutes. Let me tell you about Wealth Advantage. If you're looking to take charge of your financial future, well, look no further than the Wealth Advantage Group. They are located in historic downtown Northville and owned by those 2 guys right there, the Husak brothers. With over 20 years of industry experience, they understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. That's why they offer personalized, expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Seriously, they call you and say, let's have a sit down. Oftentimes you get a lunch out of it too. That's the way those 2 guys are. Man. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, getting ready to sell your company, or already in retirement, they can help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients throughout all stages of life and have clients in over 20 different states. The investment world is a complex one, and if you're ready to start taking charge of your finances, it might be time to work with the experts. Reach out to the Wealth Advantage Group at 248-773-8574 or visit their website at www.thewealthadv.com. Cornstalker said, thank you. No, thank you. I love talking hockey. And Mike, this is one of those things. I don't care if 7 people watch. Tom said Canada Cup was pretty good back in the day. You know this. I had a chance to go to the greatest series in the history of mankind. I saw one of the games in Hamilton. I went with a guy who eventually played in the National Hockey League, as a matter of fact. No tournament before, and that includes 1972, or since, can match that, in my humble opinion. Just one man's opinion. The 87 Canada Cup. Nothing's better. Nothing's better.
I mean, when you turn on classic hockey, I mean, that's going to be one of the things that those games are going to come up.
Yep.
I mean, it's good stuff. 91
was less than, because that was such a powerful Canada team. The big story about that, remember, Suter's shot on Gretzky. That was the big story out of that. But somebody brought the 96 World Cup was unbelievable. How the U.S. came back on Canada and won that. It was unbelievable. Ray said 4 first-round picks from this year didn't make Canada Juniors orientation team. You know what? Maybe we'll save it till next week. This is going to be really interesting, because there are a lot of guys that could be playing for Canada that won't be playing for Canada. And this is going to be a really interesting tournament. And I'm so happy to say, for losers like us, and if you're watching this, you can probably relate, U.S. Canada is back to New Year's Eve, Mike.
They listened.
Why did they go away from it?
I don't know.
That was such a great effing tradition.
Unbelievable. The only thing I could think of was it occasionally did run head-to-head with a good bowl game. Occasionally. You know, it would. I remember being over a friend's house for New Year's, because I don't leave the home, and I wanted to watch that, and we'd flip back to a good football game. Like I don't know why I have Clemson on my brain. Like Clemson was playing someone, but other than that, that was a standard on New Year's Eve.
It was phenomenal.
That was what I wanted to watch.
I know I told you this story, but I'm going to tell you guys this story. So I was doing the Carolina-Tampa game on New Year's Eve down in Tampa. And I kid you not, in the press box, everybody, and when I say everybody, I'm talking about the general managers of both teams. Steve Yzerman was the general manager. All the scouts in the building, all the media in the building. We were huddled around 2 televisions watching the U.S. and Canada in the World Juniors. It was absolutely phenomenal. And this is like an hour before Tampa and Carolina are going to drop the puck. And, I have a broadcast to do, and we're all like this. I kid you not. It was so stinking funny. It was so stinking funny. Let me tell you about Legacy. Did you know that thousands of Metro Detroiters have already called Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance? Our friends at Legacy are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents. They provide a full-service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. Legacy has helped our listeners by fixing mistakes other agents have made, asking the right questions to get the right coverage put in place to properly protect you, and help save you some money. Chances are, if you haven't checked your policies in the last year, you're probably paying too much and you could be underinsured. These guys are going to get to the bottom of it. What are you waiting for? Give Legacy a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, your business insurance needs. Call them today at 586-209-4106 or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started with your new quotes. Ray said, Canadians got so spoiled with Price, we don't have a goalie that can steal a game in this tournament.
No.
2014 was boring. It was. Like, that Olympic was boring. Yeah. Canada was so good on their back end, and that was legitimately prime Price. It was. I mean, that was pre-Kreidler injury, and I don't care what anybody says. He was really never the same after Kreidler took his knee out. It was, gosh, damn. But anyway, that it was boring. He didn't face any shots, too. It was, They were just dominant in those games. Sweet. That was can't miss television with Canada and the States on New Year's Eve. Absolutely. Canada's roster under Yzerman was a mix of young and old. This team is built, as they said, on TSN and Sportsnet to beat USA and its size. And you have Sid Crosby there, who still, I don't care what anybody says, and you can make all the jokes that people have made about me for 15 years, still is one of the best players in the game at 37 years old.
In the world.
Period.
Flat out.
Period.
I love this game because Ray also mentioned up there, and he mentioned Bedard, and it's one of those that got by me. And now I'm obsessed with trying to find a place for Bedard on this team. He's just so young right now. I don't know if you could say a Sorelli or a Hagel who's going to play a role. Konechny, I mean, he has his moments. I know he's a nice player, but I'm trying to find. I don't know. It's a thing. I don't know if I can.
I'm biased. I openly admit it, but to me, one man's opinion. I think Cole Caulfield could have had a place on that team. Nick Suzuki should have had a place on Team Canada. And if you watch that guy play night in, night out, it's incredible. Like, honestly, he's really turned into a damn good hockey player. But that's what happens when you're deep like that.
Yeah, I think there's a place for both of them.
You think the NBA sees how this goes and goes with a similar system since fans hate the NBA All-Star game?
Who cares? Next.
Would I watch it? No. Your take. Okay, we joked about this earlier. Lucas Raymond listened to us. He has picked up his game something fierce. Give credit where credit is due. We talked about it earlier this year, Mike, when you decide that you're going to give the bag to your big three have to be your big three. Mm-hmm. And I think for the first month of the season, it was a big one who was playing over his head in Dylan Larkin. And then you had two guys that were less than. And Lucas Raymond has been a ball of fire the last few weeks. Now, has it helped the Detroit Red Wings? No, because there are bigger problems than that. But I wanted to point out, and it's not like he was bad before. I hope you guys understand that. But I wanted to point out, Mike, that he has been an absolute ball of fire.
He turned into what we talked about Dylan Larkin was, which was the best player on the ice. Mm-hmm. He was all over. He was the most noticeable player. Right now, over the last week, since we were here last Tuesday, Lucas Raymond has taken that spot, and he looks like the Lucas Raymond that ended the year last year.
100%.
That took this team on his shoulders and almost got him to the playoffs. The third part of that is Seider. And I'm still indecisive on him because I like what he's doing with what he has and the positions that he's getting put in. Do we want more from him? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think this week where Raymond went here, there were games, the games that we want, the games that we gave up fewer goals, the games that we shut down some of the top lines, that he stood out like that. Then there's the games where DeBrusk has 3 goals and we're giving up a ton of goals, and that's going to be on Seider. Now, here's the thing with that. He escapes that with an even. He was even. He wasn't a minus hockey player. I'm still liking it. I still think that's what, again, amongst many problems that this team has, our defensive depth after Edvinsson is a huge problem.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's a huge problem.
And I'm going to say, am I saying that Mo Seider's garbage? Please do not misconstrue. But listen, if you get the bag and you're expected to be a 1, you have to play like a 1. I mean, really, that's the way it is. And I know it hasn't been easy for him, but in my mind, I don't think he has developed into what. That doesn't mean that he still can't, but I don't think he's developed into what I think everybody thought he was going to be. Ray said, how was that high school game you guys mentioned last week? Did it live up to what you expected? Yes. 4-3. Catholic Central beat Brother Rice, one of the best rivalries in the state. 4,000 people were there. Like, no joke, 4,000 people were there, and Catholic Central won 4-3. By the way, Mike and I are doing another game Friday night, about a mile and a half down the road, as a matter of fact, is Northville is hosting Byron Center. So make sure you check it out on the State Champs Network. Larkin and Raymond and Rasmussen have been a good line as of late. Agreed. Agreed. Hey, listen. Let's talk about Lindsay Broadwell, and I promise I won't sing tonight. When it's time to get yourself a house, whether you are buying, selling, or both, you need to contact the right agent. Who do we recommend? That lady right there, Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you will ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the mean streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of business. So when it's time to get yourself a new place, our friend Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house, and everything goes smoothly when finding that new home. Buyer, seller, first-time buyer, doesn't matter. Make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She'll help you with everything from start to close. close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. Mike, a few weeks ago, we were talking about the best teams in the league, and I mentioned a team, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm kind of patting myself on the Minnesota Wild are now the best team in the league, at least point-wise. Now, they got hit by the injury bug. Mike, I like this team. I really like this team. They have a little bit of everything.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There's a lot to like there, and obviously the Thrill is the top guy there. What I read, 39 points in 24 games, and that's with missing a couple with a knee. I think a cheap knee on knee hit, even in to say that. So I had a chance. I took Sebi out to a game last year and saw the Rangers were at Minnesota, and I thought he reminded me. And you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. I could be overshooting it. He reminded me of a young Alex Ovechkin. I saw Alex Ovechkin play his rookie year. And every time he stepped on the ice, he was creating a scoring chance for somebody, creating a scoring chance for himself, or drawing a penalty. And that's about, I looked right at Sebi and I'm like, he's right on where like an Alex Ovechkin was. Now, could they be two totally different players? But when I saw him on the ice and how dynamic he was, that was exactly what I thought of. And on top of that, Boldy right behind
100%.
him. Love that guy.
Yep.
Love him.
And I love you. You want some sandpaper. You want some grit, a guy that can do a little bit of everything. Mike Hartman was one of my favorite Whalers. And not only personally, but the way he played and what he brings to the table. They're getting goaltending, Mike. It was funny when we were talking about that. This is when Vancouver got off to the great start. We both said, hey, man, look out for this Wild team. And this Wild team is now, unfortunately, if you're a Wild fan, and I'm sure there are hundreds of thousands of you out there, they really got hit by the injury bug. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. But to me, the two surprises, I mean, I can't say enough about the Capitals. I mean, you brought that up the first show. I shake my head. I don't know how the hell they're doing it. And the Wild, those are the two teams, man. And coincidentally, they're both near the top.
And the Capitals doing it again, injury bug without Ovechkin, who was skating full equipment earlier this week. So that'll be good. But
buying that,
I don't know. Huh? You don't want to put all that weight on it. but yes. So I mean, with the Wild, do you think the Wild is this word that we use, sustainable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're sold on Gustafsson.
Yeah. Can I tell you why I am? Because I look at the rest of the West and they're just, there's nobody that sticks out like a sore thumb to me. There's nobody that sticks out like a sore thumb. I'm sorry. I have a tough time buying into Winnipeg, like we talked about last month, even with the great start. I have a tough time buying into Winnipeg because something happens comes playoff time with that team. And it's always this. What happened? We don't know what happened, right? It's always, I mean, they always seem to flame out. You and I both like a lot of pieces in Colorado, but they got exposed last year. They really did. They got exposed last year, and I think that continues.
As I said, that continues right now. They're getting exposed right now, and it's something they're going to have to address. Whether they can with the cap and everything, they're going to have to address it if they think they're going anywhere with it.
Minnesota and Washington are doing better because they're getting consistent goaltending, and that's what's missing with the Wings. That's a huge part. Well,
but again, I mean, so Rick, you're dead on. But what we can't leave out is going through when I'm trying to take some notes on the Wild, because I can't say I watch them every night. Their D is one of the deepest six that you're going to find.
Yep.
I mean, just when I was going through the names of Brodin, Spurgeon, Faber, I mean, it just kept going. Bogosian back there for experience. Oh God, who was the old I think he came from the Knights anyways, but their defensive core is, I think, helping out with Gustafsson. And me, anytime I'm looking at things and I'm looking at the future and why things happen, because for whatever reason sports always seem to follow a story. Fleury last year, Gustafsson having a little bit of struggles because I think he's only played 5 playoff games. Fleury sitting right there. with a tough D, a good team that he could. I mean, that could be something to think about.
Cornstalker, if Hill and Stone stay healthy, I like Vegas. Eichel has been so good this year. You can't count them out either. No, I'm with you. Ray said Leafs are playing great this year, especially the last 2 weeks because of goaltending. 100%. And again, without Matthews,
Poppy's back.
They're so intriguing, Ray. And I'm not taking a shot. Okay, I'm not doing the whole 1967 bitch thing. Okay, they're a lot like Winnipeg. They are. Something happens in the playoff. Mm-hmm. Something happens, and you can't quite figure it out because it's not a generational thing. It shouldn't be a generational thing. These are a bunch of guys that weren't alive during so many of the miscues of the past and everything. So as well as I do, Toronto may end up being the best team in the East. Okay, what happens at playoff time? Like let me give you a Toronto, Florida series.
Here's the thing: is you make a joke about 1967. 2023, 2024, bitches, 2022. I mean, it's every year.
Go 1 year earlier.
2021, bitches.
Where
you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a hidden thing anymore. It's there, and it has plagued them for a while.
It's real,
and it is Berube's job to get past that. I don't care. And Toronto does not care what is happening right now. They could come out with the president's. They don't care. They have to get past the first and second round. They need to win the playoffs. That is the bottom line. That's why Berube's there.
We have to get to a hockey game. So we're going to get out of here in just a minute. Stevenson and Novi, we're looking forward to that. Let me tell you about All About Catering, a full-service caterer, graduations, weddings, bridal showers, corporate events, anything you need catering for from 25 to 4,000 people. All About Catering can and will take care of you. Customer service and satisfaction is their number one goal. Rick and the gang, they got your back. Don't sweat your next big event. Just go to allaboutcateringllc.com today to see their menus and all their 5-star reviews. Give them a call, 586-731-1398 to get your event started. Toronto's a bit tougher now, have a good goalie tandem. I agree. Listen, you guys, I'm serious. They're a good team. You guys know as well as I do, it's what happens in the playoff, period. With teams like that, you have to put teams like that on a shelf. You have to put Winnipeg on that shelf. And I know there's a lot of Maple Leaf fans who have had to endure some mask guy yelling things at them. But all jokes aside, I mean, it's part of their DNA. And I think you said that very well. Berube's got to get that out of their DNA.
That is 100% it. Before we head out of here, Ray is asking about a trade for a defenseman, or Werenski or Jones or somebody. And I had mentioned to you, and we were texting earlier, that I was going to have a question for you about some things that are coming up on the internet.
Okay.
And I want to get your feel for this. And the reason this is happening is because, as we spoke about last show, only I think it was 84% of the teams that are in the playoff position at Thanksgiving, right? Last year, only 3 teams that weren't in playoff position at Thanksgiving made the playoffs. And it was Nashville, Edmonton, and the Islanders. And Nashville and Edmonton had those monster winning streaks to do it, right? So it's good.
See how they do in April. That's Johnny Nabokov. Shout out, Evie.
So we're getting to that point. So look, we got to get the temperature of what this fan base is thinking. Are they getting ready to jump off? And these are the things that are coming up. Steve is looking to make a huge deal. And as you have said, if people are saying they know what Steve's thinking, they have no idea what they're talking about, right? So that's the first thing I think of right here. However, what is the temperature of the room for? He's looking for a young number 2 center and a top 6 winger. And with $7 million end cap to work with, looking at talent for talent trades is the one of the things that people are talking about. Maybe emptying some of these draft picks that everyone's been so happy about and he's loved to collect, or possibly these prospects that are sitting in Grand Rapids. So he does have some ammunition, and it's one of these things that makes sense to me because what you say, they're talking about Raymond, Larkin, and Rasmussen are doing well and stuff like that. But what's going on with Kane hurt? Getting 2 top 6 players would move people into the positions that they're supposed to be in.
And Tim said, do the Wings have any players of value to the point a trade could help this team? Yes, but maybe not some of the guys that you see. Does that make sense? A team that's maybe a little bit behind the curve, maybe a year in rebuilding behind the curve might, okay. This is just my tendency because, again, I am not going to sit here and pretend to know what Steve Yzerman's going to do.
Right.
Nobody does.
Nope.
Nobody keeps their cards closer to the vest. So what you have to do instead, and I've said this 10,000 times, is you have to look at tendencies. I don't think he makes a gut check move.
Okay.
If I had to bet, I don't think he's going to make that panic move and go, oh, we should be farther along than we are right now. Okay. I don't think he's not going to make a move, for example, to salvage 24-25. He's going to make a move that makes the Detroit Red Wings better down the line.
100%.
That's just the way he operates.
And a move like this to me would get into something that would get into that design problem that we were talking about, that it's a design, it's a talent.
Yep.
Kind of problem that he is honestly evaluating what he has in-house, and he's got to see if he can get something for what he has as an asset, whatever it might be, to move something so that he can then have something to reevaluate and take a look at. My problem with this is, and this was the question I was going to get to, can you make this trade before you move Lalonde, or making this trade means you're keeping Lalonde? Does that make sense to you?
No, I get what you're saying.
Because if you're bringing in Sean and Mike, right?
Yeah.
Sean and Mike better be workable with Lalonde.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you can't get rid of him if you're bringing us in, because we may not fit the next guy you bring in.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer.
So it was a long-winded way of me getting to this question, because this is now the third show. I think
that's a good question. No, that's a very good question. And I'm convinced Lalonde's done. I don't know when it's going to happen, but they're not.
So then you have to make that move before you can even consider bringing anybody, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because if you bring in whomever, and have you heard the latest Woodcroft? That is the.
Mm-hmm.
He's walking in Holland's footsteps.
It's amazing.
I mean, if you look at it, I mean, he's 79-41. I can't read my writing when he was with the Oilers. This I did not know. I didn't know he was the old Red Wings video guy.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. So there's a little bit of a connection there.
We got to get out of here, though.
Okay.
Like, game starts in 9 minutes? We'll make it on time. That's the funny thing. Listen, Todd, thank you. Thank all you guys as well. Check out Shep and I tomorrow at 11. Mike and I will be back next week talking puck. See you guys. Take care. God bless you.
What the Puck with Sean Baligian. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Always Pushing Forward by Elliot Middleton. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.